blades. First thing you got to know about buying blades is whether you need a right hand or left hand blade. For those that are right hand, left hand challenged, this is the easy test. Left is left, the other one doesn't look like an L, it's obviously the right. So looking at this tractor, clearly this is a right hand discharge. Most tractors today, at least in the Simplicity Ferris Snapper line, are right hand discharge. Everything is standardized on right hand discharge with fabricated decks. But in the past, in the old days, there were lots of draw form decks that were sometimes left hand and right hand. Easy way to tell, you're looking at the blade. This is a left hand blade because it turns to the left. This is a right hand blade because it turns to the right. So with that, you got to have the right and left hand, and you got to have the right size for your deck. Best way to find out is look up the machine's part number and work down from there to get the right part number. Different types of blades that you might be interested in. Standard blades, mulching blades, everybody talks about it. Here's the scoop. In the old Simplicity days, this was a standard blade. You can see the amount of it that's sharpened. And that was a standard blade for side discharge and bagging. This one, they sharpened it a little longer. They called that a mulching blade. But now with all the new fabricated decks, this would be a typical mulching blade. Cuts on the outside, lifts, and then rolls it down by pushing down and chopping it again. So it creates kind of a donut shaped roll in each of the three blades, used in combination with the mulching kit baffles underneath the deck. So other options that are available is a gator mulching blade, and that is available for any brand, any size deck, as long as it's a right hand. There is no such thing as a gator blade for a left hand deck. So the uniqueness of a gator blade is it cuts, lifts, and then it chops with all these areas here. And then the other nice thing about a gator blade is it has a hard surface along the bottom to keep the cutting edge sharp, hard and sharp for a longer time. If you're lucky enough to have a Simplicity 50-inch deck, form deck, this blade is available. It's the only one I know of. It has both styles of mulching. The gator blade style here, and then the normal fabricated deck. But this was only used on any 50-inch form deck. Okay, so now that's a little of the history. This is all the typical blades available for modern mower decks. Today, most everything is right-hand discharge fabricated deck versus the draw form stretched metal. So when you had an older Simplicity or Ferris that had a flat front deck, this was what we called a low lift blade. Then when they went to the ICD deck, this is a high lift blade, noted by the longer, more air movement. This will move a lot more air than this. If you buy a mulch kit for that same machine, and these are all 61-inch just as an example. This is the mulch blade like we talked about earlier. This has very little lift, very little airflow out of the deck because it's rolling it and chopping it. That's the idea. And this is intended to be used in combination with the mulch kit. And so your other options in that realm is this is a high lift blade, similar to this one. But the difference is this is what they call a laser blade. It has a long, hard surface on the cutting edge. This is about 3 times the price of the standard blade, but if it lasts anywhere from 2 to 4 times as long, it saves you a lot of labor and so forth. So the other option you have, if you want to mulch, would be a gator blade, and the same thing applies there. This moves a lot of air because there's a lot of lift here, so it's similar to a high lift blade, but it will move all the air, and if not more than this. This is the choice for side discharge mulchers. A lot of people that don't irrigate or they're in big open yards, this will chop the debris into smaller pieces. So if you have a lot of dust and you want to cut that down in the middle of the summer, you could go to this mulch blade. It would lift a lot less dust. That's another place you could use that. Or if you had an ICD deck, you could put this blade on to get less airflow. And if you wanted even less airflow, this would be the answer. If you wanted to last longer, the laser blade. That's the key. Commercial guys usually aren't as keen on using a gator blade because they like to mow in the morning in the dew, and they like to push it into the rain. If you use this in the rain or the dew, it'll make wet piles of green goo and drop all over the yard. Whereas homeowner would often side discharge and mow when it's nice enough out to mow, so it cuts better. Chops it into small pieces. You don't have to worry about the moisture and the clumping or whatever. That's a good choice. So there you have it. That's a lot of stuff about blades. Just play it again 3 times so you can get it all straight. And let me know if you got any questions. We're here. Simplicity, Ferris, Snapper, the good stuff.